Well, good afternoon and welcome to Pop-Up Amazing. This is the very first episode of my series. And today we have been joined by Melanie Spring. Melanie is a brand storyteller. Hi, Melanie. She's a keynote speaker and she also trains keynote speakers. And Melanie has actually made a commitment today. We are going to rock some socks. So want to say hello to Melanie. Thanks for joining us today. Thought I might start off today and just share this. I was really inspired that you just went on a recent amazing journey. And can you tell us a little bit about what you did in your life in the middle of this COVID craziness?
Yeah, for sure. I moved across the country, and a lot of people on the East Coast thinks Denver is the West Coast, and it's not, but it is really far away from the East Coast. So we drove, 30 hours-ish in 4 days with a dog and a U-Haul with a trailer on it, with a car, and then another car. So my husband and I didn't get a chance to sit with each other, but we got a chance to use walkie-talkies. And that was, I think, my favorite part of the whole adventure was getting to use walkie-talkies to move from Denver to Western New York on our #exploring year.
That's great. And that's kind of how we actually ended up here today. I've been doing my Friday New Amazing broadcast. And last Friday morning, I shoot Melanie a note. I'm like, hey, you want to join me on my show at 9 a.m.? And she's like, I'm loading a truck to move across the country right now. She goes, how about next week, Bryan? And I'm like, I'll give you a pass. So
he's like, okay, so now then. Yeah, that sounds great.
So Melanie and I, how did I end up having, why am I pinging Melanie Spring at 9 a.m. from Denver on a Friday morning to join the New Amazing? Well, first off, many of you who are here today are, my fellow event professionals and some of my friends. Now I've spent most of my career in the AV industry, and Melanie spoke at this conference in DC. It was called MACE, which is the annual conference of the Potomac chapter of Meeting Professionals International. And I have to be quite frank, I go to a lot of conferences and I often don't look at who's speaking. So I'm just going to be frank with you, Melanie, but I did not pay attention. And I got this great surprise as she was the closing keynote for the conference. And unfortunately, you also became the closing keynote for my in-person events. So Melanie owns the distinction of not only the last person I saw in person on a stage, but she's also the first person on Pop-Up Amazing. So
whoop, whoop.
What do you think about that?
I think with every beginning, there is an end, and with every end, there is a beginning. So this is the new beginning.
I have a little comment. I got Eric Bam. I mentioned earlier to you, I got this mastermind group. We call ourselves the Megamind, and Eric jumped in and said hello. So if you got any questions for Melanie at some point, jump in, Eric.
Isn't it pronounced Megamind?
Megamind. That's how you got to do it. You got to lean into the camera. Yeah. So I'm going to get major props for the Megamind call out. So, so Melanie, what really caught my attention and why you stood out to me when we spoke at when you spoke at the MACE conferences, when you finished up, you shared about this thing called the KickAss Humans Club. And I was just like, KickAss Humans Club? What? That just totally caught my attention. And can you tell us about that? Where did that come from?
Yeah. So when I had a branding agency quite a few years ago now, I had always told all my clients, I'm like, you have to be very specific about the type of clients you want to work with, because if you start working with people that are not your perfect clients, then you're going to have a lot of people who are mad at you all the time. So when my team and I sat down to start creating who we wanted to work with, the final verdict was we only work with kick-ass humans.
Awesome.
So I started thinking, I'm like, well, I also tell everyone to start a club. And I was like, well, what if we had the Kick-Ass Humans Club? Wouldn't that be incredible? So we started thinking about, okay, well, if people join a club, what kind of club would they join? And when they started joining the Kick-Ass Humans Club, I would notice that more and more people were like definitely yes. Or there are other people who would be like, I don't want to join something like that. That sounds terrible. I'm like, great, opt out 100%. And it helps people start opting in and opting out every time. Exactly. And I was like, don't hit the door on the way out. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But it also allowed me to start going, I only work with kick-ass humans. So if you don't identify as a kick-ass human, I'm probably not going to be the best person to work with you.
And I agree. I mean, the good news is you are working with me, so I can go ahead and claim I'm a kick-ass human, right? I mean, I can put that in my bio moving forward.
You can be like official member of the Kick-Ass Humans Club.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am the poster child, and the fact that I've self-nominated,
that definitely means you're a kick-ass human.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm gonna jump ahead because actually, I am working with you on this. You got this great 90-day challenge coming up called I Speak with Confidence. And, I didn't really know what you did. Like I said, I didn't pay attention to why you were speaking. I go to so many events and then I just got caught off guard. I'm like, what is this? She is amazing. I love her. I love her spirit. I loved your stories. You're just authentic and real on the stage. So it was like, being somebody in the business, I get to see a lot of speakers. So, I just want to give you kudos.
Me too.
And most are really good, but I've seen my fair share of acronym hungry people that don't necessarily have a whole lot of value in their acronyms. So, but nothing wrong with acronyms.
For the sake of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing, I don't know if you know, but I'm a certified professional coach. And what I often tell people is that means I am actually certified to create my own acronyms. So that's what the purpose of that certification is. So when I'm speaking,
it's the whole point.
So you may want to add that to your class. I Speak with Confidence in terms of, like, when you are finished, you will be officially licensed to use your own acronyms. So,
it's true. We actually teach that in the DISH method to help people understand how to get people to remember things better. The problem is there are still people who try to make acronyms out of things that you're like, you're just really pulling for. Don't create an acronym. Just keep the short phrases and you'll be fine. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets much more over like a paragraph, it's too long an acronym. So
yeah, exactly. No kidding.
So tell me about this course. What are you doing in it? I mean, it seems like first off, I'm like, you're selling it for $97, which is like ridiculous. I'm just like totally floored that I can get access to your content for $97. Like, I thought minimum it would be like $3,000 or $4,000 for this course. Like, tell me about it.
Well, so we originally set it up to be the precursor for our retreat. So we didn't even set it up to sell it. And like 2 years after we set it up, we're like, okay, well, we should probably sell this because some people can't come to the in-person retreat. So we're like, we'll see, maybe, I'm not sure. And then after a while, I was like, okay, well, if we're selling it to go to the in-person retreat, then how can we give it to more people? And then once COVID hit, I was just like, okay, I can't go speak anymore. So if my job is to amplify voices, and right now is like kind of the perfect time to do that, what if I was able to give it to more people and have more access? Because all of the people before had been like, I don't have time and I don't have the money. Like, I can't pay $1,000 for this. I'm not going to be able to come to the retreat. The retreats are really expensive. And so I'm like, okay, but you can't say that anymore because now we have it over 13 weeks and it's $100. And I kept giving offers, like even the contest, which you actually won a spot in the contest. I was like, you can also get it for free. So even if $100 is too much for you, you can still find a way to get into this thing. And so we were trying to think about how we could get this in front of more people. I was like, that's how we get it in front of more people. We find ways to make sure that more people can do it without the time and money issue. And then we also give them, which you're going to see next week once we get launched, that we are also doing a summit, which you can pay a little more for. And you can do one-on-one training if you want to and pay a little more, but you're still getting it's like $2,800 worth of value for $100. And then also you can pay for a workbook, which is only $75 more for a whole workbook package that you get this beautiful pink big care package in the mail to get all of that too. So we started thinking about how we could just amplify more voices. And I was like, well, we already have a thing that can do that. So why don't we just drop the price on it, get more people into it and help more people?
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest. When I saw that come across the screen for $97, I about cried. I'm like, this is where I'm headed in my life, and you're going to let me have access to this amazing information for $97. I just feel, seriously, it really made an impact for me, and so that's why I've been, staying active.
Telling the whole world for me.
Yeah. Well, I just figure, what comes around goes around. So that's my approach. So you spoke about me. You had a little storytelling contest for those who join your I Speak with Confidence 90-day challenge. And I just so happened to have the person that I told you about in my story. He just posted a comment. Dad's
Hi,
here.
Dad.
He's saying
an amazing story.
He set the stage by kicking my ass when I was growing up. I mean, you weren't that bad. I mean, no. Well, I did share a story with Melanie. She said, "Who's somebody that's made an impact in your life?" And I sent in a little note about you, Dad. By the way, maybe I'll send it to you and share what I mentioned to her. But basically, what I shared was that my dad, came from humble upbringings, had some various challenges in his life, and ended up becoming somebody to write 7 books. Somebody who has led an organization called Life Success Seminars. And so I was just very fortunate to have a dad and a role model. And so thanks for stopping by, Dad. And
I love when parents jump on these things, like, because you can. Now it's not like they're going to show up at a conference, but they'll be like, "Oh, hi, how you doing? What's going on?"
Well, then, of course, you've met Katharine Gardette. She was also at the Mace conference. And Katharine has...
And she's coming to the challenge as well, which is exciting.
Yeah, so Katharine and I send each other notes. Katharine is, I don't know if I've told you, but she's my work spouse. We travel all over the country together for Prespeech AV and creative services where I work, and she does as well. And we're really pretty much cool, kick-ass human groupies. We found you. Now you're in the club, and our club, which is the Katharine and Bryan club, by the way. So, we collect amazing keynote speakers. So, hey, has anybody got any questions for Melanie out there? I know she's open to answering some questions.
Looks like Eric has a question. Did you see that one?
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I missed that. I have to scroll back up. It says from Eric. How much time, Melanie?
Well, so it used to take me hours and hours to create stuff like this. And I've been speaking for now 12 years, which that's kind of amazing. But as I was really starting to figure out how to get into the rhythm of speaking, that's how I started creating the course, was because I knew, looking at TED speeches and then looking at other speakers, and I go to tons of conferences and I go early and I stay late and I watch other speakers, and I'm always fascinated by how people do their talks. And the ones that get my attention the most were the ones who had a very specific rhythm about their talk. They're the ones who kept attention the whole time, the ones who really wanted to make sure that the audience was engaged the whole time. And I started looking at what's the thread between all of them. And that's how I ended up creating the whole course, between my branding background and helping other people write their talks and putting together the structure. I started making it so that I could literally sit down and 45 minutes later, I would have an entire talk done. So I actually only take about 45 minutes to write a talk now, but I also don't write a lot of talks anymore. I started doing webinars recently and started taking my other talks and reforming them to make them better for webinars, because you have to keep people engaged really quickly and keep them on it. So you have to make sure that they're engaged that way too. But at the same time, I used to take, I could take a week to do a talk. I wrote one talk in 12 hours on a Saturday, and started realizing that was when I created the DISH method, which created the course, which created the rest of everything that I do. So now it takes 45 minutes, which I can teach you how to do that.
Well, it also took a lifetime as well, right? Prior to the last 45 minutes, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's always like, you're not paying me for the hour that I'm going to make this speech happen. You're paying me for the rest of the things I did prior to that. So,
Exactly. Which is how some people pay me like 5 figures to get on stage and say, hi, I'm going to get up here and I'm going to tell you a story and you're going to pay me a lot of money. And it's an hour of time, but it took me, one, it takes me a long time to get there because like you have to fly there and you have to get ready and prep and everything, but also the prep of everything that I had to do before that, all the marketing and the content and figuring out how to, I don't know, all of the things that go along with that. So making sure that you believe in yourself too. I mean, that's the best way to get paid for that kind of stuff is knowing that you know what you're talking about and proving that to people.
Well, I'm looking forward to the 5-figure days. And at that point, I can, make sure I can let you know that I got a return investment on my $97. I mean,
yeah,
and now
you'll have that returned in no time.
I mean, first off, just you coming on here, I mean, I didn't pay you 5 figures today, I don't think. So that wasn't.
I mean, you did though.
I did?
Actually.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
All
on
right.
PayPal. You sent it to me on PayPal.
I'm sorry. I gave some. Here's another one from Eric. Do you on stage?
He actually asked a better question. Did you see the other question? It's better.
Oh, this one?
I actually use a thing called Lanza Air Paste, which is the coolest thing ever. And it keeps my hair exactly where I want it. So I blow dry it a certain way and then put air paste in it. And then I use big, sexy hairspray, which keeps it from going anywhere. So,
well, that's what, this definitely explains things because that is exactly the products I use for my hair, Melanie.
I had a feeling that we were on the same page with this.
So you may not know, but my wife is a hairstylist and I am not allowed to claim these haircuts. They're not hers.
Oh, got it.
Because
she's like, please don't tell anyone I did that.
In fact, a little secret is I got kicked out of her chair because she can make a lot more money and versus me going to find somebody else to cut my hair. So I got pushed out of the chair many years ago because my haircut just, she wouldn't be, her brand. She must have taken one of your courses.
Don't walk around with that and tell people I did that, please. I usually every time I get a new hairstylist, my new hairstylist gets a ton of more clients because people always come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, where do you go? Where do you go? Who do you go see? Because that's amazing. I saw someone with yellow blonde hair yesterday and was like, I wanted to be like, hi, I have a hairstylist for you. Let me help you. But then I moved, so I can't help her. So I don't have one here. As soon as I do, though, I'm going back to that gas station. I'm going to tell her.
Yeah. So what week in the 90-day challenge does my hair actually go back like that? Is that in like week 6 or?
That would be the branded one, which is chapter 2, which is week 4. I think we're going to talk about that in week 4.
I brought Ann up on the screen. Ann actually was, she's a Mace or MPI Potomac chapter member. So I believe I met Ann at Mace conference possibly this year. So she most likely saw your talk as well. So I just want to say hello to Ann. And she also, the last night, or was that 2 nights ago, I had a New Year's Eve party, just ringing in the new year. And she said, I'm not staying up, Bryan. I'll see you on Melanie's talk. So I'll forgive you, Ann. All right. So Eric's got all the best questions.
He asked if you use big, sexy hairspray. I think that would have helped.
Yeah, that one too.
Volume.
Yeah, I do. I am actually do have an endorsement with them. So, so that's why I'm a little bit. Yeah, so I'm biased. Katharine says she danced with you. Did you dance with me or Melanie? I know we've danced together.
I think with Ann, didn't she?
Yeah, Katharine is what we call a notorious stage crasher. She sits in the front row. She is the safest person in the audience for keynote speakers. She is engaged. She is smiling.
Oh, she smiles so well. I spoke at a bourbon distillery in Kentucky, and she was in the front row of that one as well. And I just, when I saw her in this audience, I was like, Katharine, what's up? How are you in this audience too? She gets around without you. Sorry, Bryan.
I know. Well, we both attended this virtual conference called the Virtual Conference on Virtual Conferences. Okay.
Oh,
great name for a conference.
Virtual Conference Squared.
And we happened to be, in this. They were testing out this concept of having like 1,200 people on a Zoom, and they had all these 8 different Zoom rooms. And so Katharine and I were in different Zoom rooms, and on the opening session of the last day, the guy on stage goes, "And good morning, Katharine Gardette." I'm just like, she was still found in the middle of a virtual conference. So
that's amazing.
Like, she's a pro like that. She's the key to. I think Eric's going to be going to your course, because I was going to be giving out through me winning your little speech contest. You gave me back my registration, and I said, well, I'm going to gift it to somebody else. So then I'm going to go ahead and say we got a little bit of time here for a few more questions, but Eric's in the lead to win the Speak with Confidence. You'll get a lot more questions from him in the future.
I'm sure.
He's asking, do you have any pre-speech rituals?
I do, actually. I'm really careful about how I spend my time right before a talk. And I've had a lot of people try to trip me up on these things, which that can happen, especially dealing with AV people.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure you know this in the events industry.
I don't know any AV people. I don't have any rolls of duct tape.
I know. I figured you had no idea what I was talking about there. But there's a lot of times where something could trip you up, like the guy doesn't have and this isn't the AP people piece of things, but typically the person introducing you doesn't have the right introduction bio, and you're like trying to figure out where it is, or they don't have the right slides, or you sent them ahead of time, but so-and-so didn't get that to them in time. And I usually treat the AV people like the best people on the planet, because I do not want them messing up my talk for me. So that's a big, big tip. Always be in with the AV people, because they will take care of you. Even if something goes terribly wrong, they will take care of you. But at the same time, a lot of the pre-speech rituals I have are being really careful to have some quiet time first thing in the morning. So taking some time to reset, turning off my phone and like putting it away at least an hour beforehand, so that I can just be in the moment and be there. And then talking to the audience is actually my favorite part of my pre-speech ritual, is like talking to people as they come in, standing near my table where I have stickers, and like chatting with people. They're like, "Oh, you're the speaker. Oh my gosh, that's so great." So making sure that can happen as I'm doing it. But one of the things I tell all of my speakers is to take some time in the bathroom ahead of time. And if you have to stand in a stall because people are coming in and out, that's fine too. Or if you have your own because you have a green room, that's great. But if you can take some time to like spread out and to go big and to like use all the space and yeah, right?
I didn't do that really before we talked today.
But if you do this and you're like, oh, you can make yourself so big, you walk out there with a lot more energy. And then you are power posing into the space. So you're not going, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. You're doing, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
I can do
So
this.
even if you don't feel super confident, that's what I usually do in the bathroom ahead of time. Is like, raise the roof.
Do you have a go-to like song that you listen to? Is there like a motivational song?
Oh yeah. And I think at Mace, they actually finally played it. I heard someone was playing music ahead of time, and I was like, wait, can I have a walk-up song? They were like, yeah, what do you want? I'm like, badass woman. So I actually had them play like, I'm a badass woman. And I would walk up and I would be like, yeah, this gets me grooving. Let's do this thing. So it was awesome to be able to play that, because it's the thing that gets me jamming right before I do anything. Yeah.
All right. So before we close up here, first
it looks like your dad has a question.
Oh,
you missed the question from your dad.
Oh, I gotta go back over to the question side.
Come on, Bryan. I mean, what is this? The first episode of the show or something?
It is like the first episode, and let's see. Can you explain when the new KickAss course starts? Is it weekly? How many sessions and cost? I guess you might have another.
Well, it's $97. Like Bryan said. And Mike, if you would like to join us, you are totally welcome to see if you can kick Bryan's butt at speech writing, because I would love to see that. And it starts July 7th. We close registration July 14th. So if you don't make it in time, we'll still give you a week just in case to get in. But the first call is July 8th. So as long as you're in by the 7th, you'll be able to join us for the call on the 8th. and we'll get moving and grooving so that we can make sure that you have the talk that you want. And there's also a workbook that comes in the mail. So if you sign up this week, we can drop something in the mail as soon as this holiday weekend is over and make sure that you get it within that first week. But you also have all of the materials online as well. So super easy.
Well,
who wants in this course, Eric?
So he's paid for already. That'll come off my my debts to him from like high school days. So take $97 off, Dad. Oh wait, you absolved.
So it's free.
One Christmas we got a letter from my dad and my stepmom, and it was absolved us of our debts to them. So now I'm so I'm plus 97 now. And then Eric actually works for a company called I'm gonna bring him back up because he's actually the one who started this little group I'm in, and he sells pizza liners. You would never imagine that a guy who sells pizza liners is one of the most amazing people you'd ever meet. But I'm literally taking pictures of pizza liners now. It's ridiculous. He's a pro at branding and marketing, and you should follow him, Melanie. He
asked what my favorite pizza topping was. My favorite pizza topping is sausage. If there's sausage on a pizza, I will definitely be eating it.
Yeah, see, there you go. I mean, he's an expert. He fits pizza into our, the pop-up amazing. I don't know how he got on the pizza. He finds his way into having a pizza conversation on every call that I'm on. So, so Eric, you're in. Mike Monahan, you're in. And we'll see who else. Katharine, I think, signed up, right?
She's already in, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're calling you out. You might have to sign up. That's how this works. And then let's see who else is in here. I'm sure there'll be some other people that pop on. So let me think. Where do we finish up here? I don't know how to finish up pop-up amazing. How do you pop up end amazing? I don't. Where
I was
going to
ask you here? Actually. I'm doing a watch party to the KickAss Humans Club, and I was noticing that my video is really pixelated. Is it pixelated on your end too?
Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a little bit.
That's annoying. We have really good internet here. I don't understand why that's happening.
I'm gonna have to call StreamYard and ask them what's up with them. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah, that's not okay.
I know. I wasn't sure if that was just the way I'm seeing it here. Is my video good?
Your video is amazing. Yeah, I just thought that was weird. I've never seen that before. So,
well, that's called, that's how I'm prorating us, So, like, I had to make you a little fuzzy so that, it would be.
You looked prettier.
Yeah. So, I put the filter on there because I just did not. Also, I mean, Anne went ahead and made it positive. She says it's artsy.
It's artsy.
So, well, I mean, you were concerned that you weren't done, getting your cabin up to snuff for video yet. Right. And so, I mean, I was
the plywood behind me.
So,
well, I think that maybe asking one last question before you finish the pop-up amazing and then finding a sign off would be a good idea. Like you do in a talk.
Oh, so this is my first session with you right now. Then
I know we're doing it now. We're doing it live.
We're doing it loud. So, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers today about amplifying their message? That's to use some of your words. I know you're hellbent on amplifying messages. So, tell us about what do people need to do to get themselves moving in this space.
Well, I'm going to go off the name of your show, The New Amazing and Pop-Up Amazing, and say the best way for them to be able to really amplify their message is to be themselves in the most amazing way. So if you understand who you are and how you show up, then you'll continue to show up the exact same amazing way everywhere. And I would say the very first way to do that is to text your friends and family this one little phrase and see what they say. And it's what 3 to 5 words describe me. And that'll set you on your way to being your amazing.
It's funny you mention that because that's what started me on this journey, actually, and I did not know it. I took your Zoom.
Ah,
I took your how not to be weird on Zoom, and
mhm.
I sent you a note and said, I am looking forward to your tips, but I'm still going to be weird. And you said that was okay. So,
Yeah.
but
It's not
that
being weird on Zoom.
how not to be like a crappy Zoom user or something like that was the bigger picture. But
Yeah,
weird.
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, so actually, that did actually spur me big time. So I think that worked out good that we ended here because that is kind of where this journey started. I took your Zoom, don't be weird on Zoom course, and you had me ask that question. And I immediately, before your event was over on Zoom, I started sending people notes, and it just woke me up.
Oh,
And it woke me
good.
up to this idea of the new amazing. So, so I think I know how to finish now. I said, thanks for stopping by the Pop-Up Amazing Show. We thank Melanie Spring for joining us and her wonderful wisdom. And remember, be amazing. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, Melanie. Have a great day,
Thank
everybody.
you.